Hey guys, how's it going? Mike the Tech here. Today I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to make YouTube thumbnails in Photoshop. So the first thing you want to do is actually go into, well, we have Photoshop already open, so you can do that as well. But you're going to want to open up your video, the video that you're making a thumbnail for on YouTube. So I'm going to open up this one just because it's already here. And I will mute this, pause it. And here's our video. So we're going to open up in full screen, and this works particularly well if you have a 1080p resolution screen, but you can use any resolution screen to do this. So mine's 1080p, so I just made it full screen, and I'm going to go ahead and drag this to a section that I think would make a good thumbnail. So in real life I used this right here, and I liked it because it was a little bit dark, and the white text shows up really well over it. So that's how I did it. So what we can do is, if you click once, it'll make the bars go away, the user interface, it'll just go away, and we can use print screen on your keyboard, and you may need to use the function key print screen if it's in blue or in a different color. Some manufacturers make you press function before you can use it. Mine, you just hit print screen on its own, and you might not see anything happen, but that's okay, it worked. We're going to go back over to Photoshop, and we're going to go to File and New. And if you have a 1080p screen, it will automatically choose the width and height for you in 1920 by 1080. If you have another size, go ahead and change this manually to 1920 by 1080 to match the resolution of YouTube screenshot system. If you want to do 4K, you can, but we're going to use 1080p because it's going to get scaled down regardless. So we'll hit OK. And all we're going to do is we're going to paste, because when we hit print screen, it actually takes a screenshot of the entire screen, but it saves it in our clipboard. So all we have to do is hit Control V to paste, or actually go to Edit, Paste, and there's our screenshot from our video. So now that we have a screenshot imported, we can just go ahead and add some text. So we'll click here and say, adding a screenshot in Photoshop, right? So let's go ahead and move this around and say, let's make it 2 lines. So we'll hit enter right here. Now we have 2 lines, and it says adding a screenshot in Photoshop. We want to make it really large, so we're going to highlight the text, and if we click on this number right here, we can choose up to 72 point, but a lot of the times you're going to have to use something bigger than 72. So if you choose 72, go ahead and use the scroll wheel on your mouse, and you can actually go up as high as you'd like and visualize how large it's getting. You can also type it in and say 160, enter, and that will choose 160 point. So that actually seems like a good size, and we can go in and highlight all this text. And this is the text editor tool, the character and paragraph panels, and that's where you can actually adjust a lot of your sizing. So for example, this is how much space between lines you have, which can be helpful. So I'll set mine right there. This is how much space in between characters, so you can change it up a little bit there and stylize it a bit. I like it to be a little bit closer together. And this is your actual size of the font, so it's 160 in this case. You can even stretch it upwards a little bit if you want to, or horizontally. So once we've done that, you'll notice, alright, well, we can kind of see the text, but it doesn't really stand out, right? So if we right click on the layer that has text, so on our right side we look for a layer that has text, and we'll go to blending options. We can actually do a few things to set this text apart from the background. One of the most common things, at least in the past, has been drop shadows. We can go into a drop shadow and just increase the size and spread, and distance can stay about here, stay pretty low, but the spread and size can go out, and you'll see that it gets kind of darker, so that it's a little bit more visible. You can even make the spread out even more if you want to, but a lot of people do use drop shadows to kind of make text stand out. I, however, like to use strokes. So if you go over to stroke and change the color to black by clicking on color and then dragging it over to black, you can actually set the size of your border or stroke of your text. So if we move it on up to, say, like 20, that looks pretty good. And that can go over any type of background and still be readable, whether it's on a black background like so or a white background like so. It'll just look pretty good. So this is, and just to mention, this font is Myriad Pro. It's one of my favorite fonts, and I use it quite a bit in my videos just because it's easy to read and it's kind of modern. And you can add in logos and do other stuff if you'd like after the fact. But this is a really basic and quick way to make thumbnails in Photoshop. Alright, I hope this helped, and thanks for watching. Peace.